Hey everybody, and
welcome to Honestly Mama. Mama.
Really? Okay, look at the camera.
Sorry. Oh, I thought you were doing the intro.
I was trying.
Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing something super fun and exciting. Obviously, as you can tell, I have Officer Sexy Pants here with us today, and he'll be all throughout this video because we are filming a date day. Today's video is sponsored by the app Intimately Us. It's an awesome app that helps just connect married people and help you go deeper through conversation, fun date ideas.
It's an intimacy app. It just gives new, unique ways, reminders to just love one another well, whether it's through awesome ideas for today's challenge for her to wash my car, or just ways to simply, hey, remind your loved one that you love them today. But then it also gives awesome little exercises that you can do where it walks you through conversations you don't typically have with one another, or just unique ways to keep dating fresh on different values or techniques that you can do to spice it up or change it up.
Yeah, so I really appreciate it, but when you log in, right at the top, we've linked our apps together, so it actually personalizes it and says, today's challenge, wash Jeremy's car for him. And so you can say, I did it, or you can pass on them, and it gives you a new challenge every single day when you log on. Just some are simple, some are a little bit more intense. There was a challenge on there that said, greet Jeremy at the door naked. I was like, whoa!
Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I did find out that was the challenge for the day.
When you have 4 children, it's a little harder to be standing naked at the door when you come home from work.
Not impossible, so I'm a little disappointed she didn't try a little harder, but...
It is date day. Oh my gosh, I feel like it's been forever since we've gone on a date. Yeah, seriously, I'm not even sure the last time we went on a date. I mean, things are a little more complicated these days, especially because my parents moved out of town 6 or 9 months ago or something, and they were our primary babysitters, so you know, because I feel like babysitting rates have gone just through the roof. I'm all for a babysitter. I have a couple of awesome babysitters who help us with the kids, but it's so expensive to go out on a date night if you have to pay a babysitter. I mean, it sometimes doubles or triples even our cost. So, luckily, my mom is in town this weekend. She just popped up to visit for a little while, so we're like, hey, while you're here, would you watch our kids? Whenever we go on a date, I always like to make sure I get... Oh, wow. Look at my closet. It's beautiful. I always like to make sure that I get dressed up kind of special, not necessarily fancy. I mean, if we're going out to like a fancy restaurant, I will, but like where we live, we're kind of out in the country, so there's not a ton of like upscale restaurants where you could necessarily wear like a dress and high heels, like you'd stick out like a sore thumb. But I like to dress cute and get out of like my normal, mom mode casual. I feel like just putting 5 minutes into freshening up my makeup, maybe doing my hair, jewelry, a cute outfit, like really helps me to shift my mind from what went on during the day, shift my mind from mom mode to wife mode. And it feels more legit, like an actual date. So I'm going to find something to wear. I think I have an idea of what I want to wear, but here we go. I found myself an outfit. I've really been digging this outfit lately. I just feel like it's kind of cute and fresh, and it has those springy vibes to them. I mean, Jeremy's already seen it. It's nothing new, but at the same time, it makes me feel really cute and fresh. So I feel like anything that I can do as a mom to help switch my mindset from like mom mode into like let's get frisky and have fun is good. And so this outfit helps me feel flirty and just pretty and feminine, so I'm gonna go with it today. I'm gonna go freshen up my hair a little bit, my makeup, change my earrings, all that good stuff, and then we'll be ready to go. outfit, freshen up my hair. hair, makeup, all that stuff. So I am all ready to go. We're just waiting on my mom to come. Getting ready for tonight's date was so simple, mainly because with the Intimately Us app, because they have a whole bunch of date nights planned out for you, I didn't have to sit there and like think through what should we do, you know. No, okay, to be really honest, we tend to be creatures of habit and we do the same date night every single time. Not that there's anything wrong with, you know, dinner, but I mean, like, that's legit, like, all we do. I feel like once in a while we go to the movies, but of course, lately we haven't been able to do that. And so we basically just, like, we'll go do dinner and then maybe we'll walk around Target or something. Like, I'm like, that's not much of a fun date or, like, a good way to connect. Of course, we connect over conversation at dinner, but I was really thinking it'd be fun to do something, but I always get stumped and like run into the issue of like, but what should we do? And then of course, you know, you get into those marital problems of like, well, what do you want to do? Well, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know. I want to do whatever you want to do. Well, what do you, and then you get, you know, you bicker and you end up having a frustrating date night rather than a fun date night. Maybe that's just me, but I don't think so. Anyhow, so Intimately Us totally took all of that stress and pressure out of the equation of date night. And instead of having to like try and like think ahead, plan something out, come up with something, we just chose a date night. Best part is it was a free date night idea. We are going to be taking part in a scavenger hunt around town. Like, I'm like, okay, that just kind of brings back feelings of being a child and like the nostalgia of how fun it is to like hunt things down. So when we saw that, it just really fit with us and who we are as a couple, and we thought that would be a really fun date night. So I'm like, huge perk that it's actually free. I feel like normally the only stuff that I come up with is like a movie or, you know, like an exhibit or something, and they all cost money. Not that that's bad, but at the same time, I think it's really nice to have a free date night idea that I feel like is going to be something really fun and fresh, and it's just going to add a lot of excitement to our date. So I'm really excited to get started on our scavenger hunt, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so the kids are with my mom, napping, hanging out for the rest of the day, so we are kid free, and we stopped in, got some coffee right off the bat just to get us started off right. And then we decided to do the date. Where is it? I think it's at the bottom. We're gonna go on a scavenger hunt around town. So in the app they have a whole bunch of different date night ideas. I even heard from a little birdie that they have quite a few more date nights that they're about to download, so there'll be some fresh ideas pretty quick here. But I love that this made it easy to plan a date without the stress of coming up with something.
Planning a date.
Without the stress of planning a date, because I tend to just do one thing and never come up with anything new. And then it has a bunch of different ideas down at the bottom to do. You can play games, bedroom games. There's also conversation starters, which we were going through some of the packs last night. I answer on my app, he answers on his app, and then when it's done, it actually syncs up our answers. It gives you a lot of fun room just to create your own lists and be more playful, I think, in your marriage. Like, it's a good way to not get complacent. I feel like sometimes after being married, you stop going out on a limb for one another and kind of like just having fun, being flirty. We've been married for almost 13 years, and we've definitely gone through our times where having something like this that just reminds you to be conscious of your spouse's, even like your spouse's love language. I noticed that in here, so it has a spot that says reminders and affirmations, and it gives you the room. So it says, remind me to express appreciation for Jeremy tonight. Remind me to plan our next date night. And you can set reminders on your phone so it pings me and just gives me that little nudge, because
sometimes even the most remarkable individuals need a little assistance in their spontaneity, and this is just it's an amazing tool that you can use to kind of help keep that alive and prospering. It's definitely it's been a good thing for us.
Yeah, and I feel like it's not that you're trying to not appreciate one another. It's not like you're trying to take each other for granted, but especially when you become parents and like with 4 children and children's 4 children.
Listen, children's.
And he's on nights right now with his job, and I work from home full time. Like, it's just easy to start missing each other in the craziness of life. And so it's not like we're trying to take one another for granted, but you can accidentally drift apart. And so I feel like this app just, it helps you not do that because it's making you be intentional and giving you those simple reminders. I mean, a text from your phone saying, hey, have you smiled at Jeremy today? Have you made him laugh? Have you told him you love him?
Have you washed his truck?
Have you washed his truck? Thank you, Intimately Us, for, yes, having that be today's, of course. Today we decided to do the date idea for a scavenger hunt. I love this. Prep zilch. Length long. Cost under $10. For whom? Both. Grab your fedoras and spyglasses. For this date, you and your boo are going to go see things in a new way right in your own town. So basically, the whole point is there is a list of things that we're going to go try and find around town. They're not super specific, so something unexpected, an inside joke, something hip. So just, you could translate it however you want, and I feel like this list you could use over and over and over again, because you could go to a different town. You could, you know, kind of interpret it differently. And then just for fun, you can take a picture at each location to kind of document your date. So we will be taking you guys along with us as we find our stuff on our scavenger hunt and also show you some of the fun pictures we got.
But first things first, she owes me a car wash.
Alright, we got the truck all washed. It's shiny clean. So now we are off to find the first object on our scavenger hunt, which is something round.
And when you think round, I think ball.
Here's our something old. Ta-da! So we got a 2-for-1 whammy here. We just found something unique to our town, which is a mural of our town. And then,
I thought that was something flat.
oh, it's unique to our town. And then we're doing this one as something old, which is probably one of the oldest things in our town.
I think this is the oldest thing in Forest Lake. This is the Hool feed mill. It's where the train actually used to go on this old path right through the middle of our city that has been turned into a bike path now.
So, as we're driving to our next location for our scavenger hunt, we came across something that is an inside joke for us.
Every couple has to have an escape word.
A safe word.
Something for, well, safe word's a little different. An escape word is when you're hanging out with a couple, or, you know, maybe you're doing
Friends,
that.
family.
You're doing that initial friend get-together date where, you know, both the...
Where you're trying out the
couples,
couple to see if, you know, it's going to work or not.
What is that word that you use to tell your partner, hey, I'm ready to leave?
Yep. So we, way back when
Kind of
we...
like he's ready to go.
way back when we first got married, because I'm an introvert, he's an extrovert, and he used to hang out places for hours and hours and hours, and I would end up, like, fuming by the end of it and be so angry that we came up with a word that I could use that nobody would pick up on that would be like, hey, let's go. The word was?
Pumpernickel.
Pumpernickel. How did we ever work that into...
You never did, and I was good to stay, so it was a good word.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if I did ever use it. Okay, so we came up to a local town near us called Lindstrom. It's a teeny tiny little Swedish town. This is actually where I grew up as a teenager because we found some, what are these called? Statues. Some statues. Some stuff and things. Carl Oscar is over there.
Frozen people call.
The founder of this town. So, here's our statues, checking it off the list. Alright, here's something else you're only gonna see in Lindstrom. We are well known for the Teapot Water Tower. It's not actually a working water tower though. Some lady pays for the plot to have it stay up because she likes it so much. So, yes, that is the Teapot Water Tower. We're also known for that giant wiener. I mean hot dog.
Yeah, we are.
Alright, so Jeremy had the brilliant idea to hit
Of course
up
I did.
a local sculpture garden, kind of. We have a place near us called Franconia, and it's a place where a bunch of different artists come and they make statues and really fun pieces of art and stuff. I always forget because it's way out past our house, so I forget to come here. And then when we hit Lindstrom, he's like, well, hey, we should go there because we're going to see if we can knock out a couple of our last items. So let's see what we can find.
Like this giant horn.
Tried to take a cute picture. Ended up in the mud. Made it up there okay. Did not make it down okay. We found something that won't fit in the back of the truck. Look at that thing. It's huge. It's a little smaller than a Ferris wheel, but just about. So this is what we're claiming as won't fit in our truck. Jeremy found the creepiest sculpture he could find and said we needed to go see it.
Thinking space.
If I don't come back, you'll know where I am. Well, if it wasn't flooded, it wouldn't be as creepy. Alright, so I think we successfully found, I don't know, probably at least half the list. Franconia knocked off quite a few different items on the list because there's such a wide variety to choose from. So we are going to head to go find dinner now.
Let's take a drink of water.
Yeah, I noticed.
And the seatbelt thing was letting you know. You remember seatbelt time.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I really like this list because we just knocked out about half of it at a sculpture garden. We could do this same exact date next week and it'd be completely
different town. Well, we definitely wouldn't have ended up here on a regular date night.
Right.
I mean, I haven't been here in probably 3 or 4 years. It's a fun place. It's just not somewhere I think to go. So I feel like this list and this challenge actually caused us to go outside our comfort zone even more and just do something a little different.
Right. Instead of heading east from our house, we just go west next time and see what we find.
There you go.
North, south, tons of different directions.
All right, we're gonna go look for some dinner.
I feel like my eyes are tearing up.
They are.
I don't want to use this napkin.
How's that spicy chicken there, honey?
It's so good.
So we are home from dinner. We went out to Mallard's, which is one of our favorite local restaurants. Enjoyed a great dinner, spicy chicken for Jeremy.
Yeah, it was a little spicy. A little bit more spicy than I anticipated.
I had lemon chicken and of course, you know, just had some good dinner time conversation about, you know, our future, where we're at as a couple, all of that type stuff. I think conversation is such an important part of marriage and something we've definitely learned over our years, over our decade of being married. Sorry, I like to throw that word in there. It's just that intimacy isn't all about sex, and I think that was something I particularly, when I was younger, really got wrong. I mean, we got married at 18 and 20.
Which at the time, I mean, I was...
Oh, stop. No, that's not necessarily true. I overplayed my hand a little bit in trying to be everything you needed in, you know, the bedroom department, and I feel like it got to the point where you didn't actually feel loved through the actual act of, you know, intimacy, because we weren't being intimate. We were having sex just to have sex, not to actually connect and be intimate. And there's a difference.
Which I'll deny I ever said this.
Yeah.
It's a good thing it's on a recording. That is a true statement, and I think that that's one of the biggest things that our marriage has had to really come through, is the knowledge that there is a difference between making love and having sex.
Yes.
And I think that even one of the good things that this app does is it reminds you that there's a place for both. That there really is a trick to connecting with one another, so that you can connect physically as well. I mean, obviously this app is so much more than that, but it is a good, just constant reminder / thing that pops up on your phone that you share, that you're both seeing the same alerts for.
It's a good connection point for married couples. I feel like it's an easy way to connect in a fun way, in a deep way. It gives you, date ideas, but it's so much more than that. Because now tonight we had an extra fun date because we went and did something silly that we wouldn't normally do. And we giggled, we laughed. Sorry, I shouldn't say you giggled. I giggled.
I'm pretty sure while she was giggling,
He was laughing in a manly chortle. But we had fun together. It was fun to do something different for us, but not in a forced way. It wasn't like you came up with the idea or I did or whatever. Like, it was just like, we're doing this together.
Right.
The phone says do this. All right, let's go. Like, it was a fun way to come together, do something different, inspire conversation. And then, like I shared earlier, they have conversation starters in the app, which, like, so if you're feeling stumped at dinner, there's a whole list. Whoop, showing up. There we go. There's a whole list of conversation starters: intimacy, romance, family, spiritual, just for fun, finances. And so when you open it up, it'll ask you questions. So I'm in the romance category. What makes a date romantic to you? How do you like to flirt with me? How does flirting and teasing build romance in our relationship? And so it just gives you those little questions, that little nudge to actually talk about something, where I feel like so often as parents specifically, we end up getting stuck down the side road of like just talking about our kids, or like what we're doing, or even making goals and plans for the future, which is good, and it's deepening our relationship. But at the same time, to just have some of those lighthearted conversations or those fun conversations, or be willing to open up the conversation about sex,
Right.
what we'd like to do, try.
Well, and I think
stuff.
it's really important. The longer that you're in a relationship, I think it's even more important to remember that yes, you need to be deep with one another. You need to be talking about your plans and purposes for the future, but you also need to keep the exact same romance alive as what was going on while you were courting or while you were dating.
The flirting, the spontaneity.
I still want to touch your boobies. You know what I mean? Like,
Awesome.
And keeping that alive, because that's actually what.
And enjoying each other as a married couple.
Right. It helps.
Yeah.
It helps keep the spark there.
Because I feel like that's where we've drifted apart in the past. We've had this conversation a lot where we end up just feeling like roommates.
Right.
And I'm like, I love you and I adore you, but at the same time, we're not meant to be roommates. We got married for a reason. Like, I'm not just living with you, I'm doing life with you.
And I think a huge thing that we've actually really touched on a lot, a couple times throughout our marriage, has been we are absolutely in love with one another, meaning that we are devoted to one another. We want to see one another succeed. But really breaking that down and saying, not only am I in love with you right now, I really like you.
I enjoy hanging out with you.
I want to spend time with you. And that's where we constantly reevaluate on that aspect of it, being like, do we want to get away for the weekend? Do we want to get away from the kids and just be with one another?
Yeah.
And that kind of being our plumb line, is being, are we doing what we need to do in order to keep us alive? In order to make sure that our families.
Because I definitely feel like way back when we were younger, we've been best friends since we met. But we really were. We were good friends, and I always enjoyed hanging out with you. We had fun together. And so I tell people, when they're looking for advice on like, who should I marry and how do I know that this is the right person? I'm like, is it your best friend? Is it somebody that you're going to want to stay up late at night, and have those afternoon chat with, wake up next to in the morning when they don't look pretty? Just stuff like that. Like,
amazing.
No, is this person your best friend? And that's where when I feel like our relationship thrives is not only when we're focusing on like the sex aspect, because that's not all there is to intimacy, but when we're actually focusing on the intimacy of knowing one another as people, our goals, aspirations, dreams, not just together as a couple, but separately, and also enjoying each other as friends. Like, we are good friends. You're my favorite person to hang out with.
And I think, that has a lot to do with learning and growing and knowing each other's love language, what we need, our number one way of expressing love, as well as our number one way of receiving love.
Yeah.
Are most of the time, they're completely different for people. The way that I love Stephanie, the way that I try to show my love to Stephanie, is completely different than how I want to receive it. And most of the time, it's completely different than what she wants to be received, or what what she wants received in order to feel loved. So it's really good conversation and topic to bring up. And I want to say this app has been very good because it is a way of not necessarily taking all of the spontaneity out of the date, but at the same time really getting rid of the need for 100% spontaneity, because it is I think that's probably one of the biggest downfalls to dating. You run out of things to think about. I mean, like
Talk about.
Not even talk about, but like go original ideas.
Yeah.
We've been to Franconia before, like we did tonight on this date, but it's been years since we've gone.
Yeah.
It was new, it was fresh.
And it was a different perspective on it because we were actually looking for something. So it was purposeful rather than just going there and walking around at random, which there's nothing wrong with that. But this gave us fresh purpose for what we were doing. And again, this is only one of the date night ideas on there. There was multiple different ideas that we could do.
And we didn't show you everything that we had to look for.
Yes. No, we didn't. Like, I mean, it helps you structure your date in a way that you can go as deep as you want. You can be as intimate as you want. I didn't talk about this yet. On the app, there's like a location place where you can geotag all the places that you've done it. I was like, that's fantastic. So you literally can make like a conquest map. We've done it here, we've done it here, we've done it. I was like, okay.
I haven't seen whether or not it includes altitude, but it's there. 10,000 mile high cliff.
One of the other things that I've really loved about the Intimately Us app is it's helped us open up healthy conversation about sex. Like, I don't feel like we've ever had a terrible sex life, but it does ebb and flow. Pregnancy, kids. I mean, we have 4 children now. It's harder to find time, and we've been very, very...
Changes priority.
Changes priority. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, we've been very purposeful about our sex life because we know that that's an important part of having a healthy marriage and intimacy. But what I've enjoyed about this app is, like, last night we were going through some of the card stacks answering questions, and there was a few that were like, what? Like,
things that you don't
think to talk about. Yeah.
All of a sudden are right there for you to talk about.
Oh, you're interested in that?
And put your name on, put your vote on.
Okay. All right.
It has an interesting dynamic to it. But one of the things that I like about it is because it has so many different dynamics to it. I mean, it's got games that you can play, conversations that you can have.
Date night ideas.
Ideas for unlocking it, as well as, I think, for us, the intimacy calendar. I mean,
I forgot about that.
It's got a very interesting dynamic to be able to track. When are you being intimate with your partner? When have you?
Because I think so often,
when would you like to be?
He'll be like, it's been 2 weeks, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we just had sex yesterday. He's like, no, we haven't, and I'm like, oh. I think for the female, we don't always feel the need as often. So
I wouldn't say female. I'd say it's in our relationship. It tends to be.
Well, priority-wise, like you said, I'm the mom, and I have a lot all the time that I'm juggling and thinking about. And it's not necessarily that I'm not trying or that I don't want to have that relationship with you. It's more that house cleaning and, I'm running a business and I have 4 kids and now I'm homeschooling. And like, so it all just stacks up where it's one of those things that I don't want to say out of sight, out of mind, but sort of, and I forget about it.
Yeah, it's life. You get busy with so many other things, But I think even with the intimacy calendar, what you talked about, I would say at the beginning of this, or the turn of this year, about really being devoted to one another. That my first place is being a good husband to my wife, and her first place is being a good wife to
I'm a wife
me.
first and a mom second.
Right, so that we can love one another in order to partner with what we're doing in life. I think, especially with different love language, it's really important to keep track and stay consistent. Not consistent like every Monday. That's not what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, that's fine. That's fine if it works for you.
Yeah, whatever it looks like, but staying consistent with the priority of loving one another well. If your love language isn't physical touch, sorry. But I mean, whatever that looks like for you guys, and that's what I really like about this app. It has many different dynamics to it: quality time,
Well, there's a learning portion to it also, where you can go in and read a bunch of different articles,
Yeah.
which I found interesting. They're short and sweet and to the point, like nothing super.
Like, it might not be a big deal for you to be intimate now, but after you get done reading the articles, maybe you'll be better at it.
Yes, there are some interesting articles that made me blush a little. Like, woo! And here's the best part, I think, for me. It's a safe app. It's a safe place. It's very clean. It's nothing nasty or raunchy or anything that you're going to get on.
There's no bad photos. It's not.
Yes.
It's not that type of.
It's a healthy environment for married couples, because I think that's another hard part is when, like, if you do want to spice things up in the bedroom, you're like, ooh, we should think of a new position. I'm not going to go Google that because
it
good
doesn't
gravy.
stir up lust.
No.
For others, it stirs up lust for one another.
Yeah, it's very much directed
safe.
at your spouse, enjoying them, loving them, having fun, finding. What are you smirking at?
You.
Okay. What were we talking about?
Intimacy. Stirring up a lust for one another.
All in all, we enjoyed the app. We enjoyed our date night tonight, and I really enjoy that the app is a fun way to go deeper with each other in more than one way.
She's thinking more than we're.
Anyhow, any last words you'd like to add about sex life, spices stuff?
I would definitely tell you to give the app a try. I mean, if it's a matter of we've tried it all, I don't know what's happening. This is a phenomenal app to be able to give it one shot, give it a couple of shots.
Because it's got everything you need right in there.
Yeah, it's all inclusive.
Yeah.
I would tell you to give it a couple of looks, because every time I've gotten into the app, or every time that we've gotten into the app together, it has been, well, we're taking that in a completely different direction than I thought it was supposed to go. But it's good. It's a good way to get fresh eyes for one another, fresh eyes for whatever the dynamic is, and that's definitely a very important part of marriage, especially considering you've been married for 13 years. Got
Just like a drop in the bucket.
4 little ones running around
This is true.
downstairs. It encourages couples to really make time for one another, and that being a very targeted purpose and targeted aspect of what we need to do well with one another so that we can parent well. So that we
How
can,
do we do better having sexy time? I mean, in general, like, how should people do better with carving out time, sex time? Or what about like a come hither look? Like, how do you let your spouse know, like, hey you?
Yeah, I would say one of the most important things that Stephanie does is I work nights. She will very much tell me at like 11 o'clock at night, man, I wish you were here. And then I know, well, if it's not right when I get home, it is going to be when I wake up. And that's because it lets me know what's coming. It also tells her that we've got lots of time to prepare.
But I think also too, we've worked really hard specifically with your night schedule, accommodating that. I think what I've realized is that in the past, we've given our very last ounce of effort to sex. And that's not how it should be. Like, you wait till the very end of the day after you've eaten way too much for dinner and you've had dessert and you watched a movie and you're dead tired and the kids drove you nuts. Like, you give that last little sliver of like, if I'm still in the mood when we crawl into bed, literally dead to the world,
Right.
we'll do it.
Now we've more prioritized it.
Yes.
This needs to happen
Yes.
so that we can partner up and
So,
actually take
yes.
it. We view it more as like your cup of coffee in the morning. Like, this is a necessity in order to...
if you get into the scientific research behind sex and the benefits,
the oxytocin levels.
check
and
out the
everything
app.
else.
It talks about some of that. But yes, there's so many amazing benefits to why we should be connecting in this way as a couple. It is absolutely fundamental to marriage. Is it the only way to be intimate in marriage? No, absolutely not. But at the same time, I think a lot of married couples give like, 1% of themselves. They give the very last part of their day like, whatever. Where we should actually be investing in this and giving a better part of ourselves to it.
And being that unified front. I mean, nothing
Yeah.
connects you more,
That's true.
as we know, I mean, just throughout history, but nothing connects you more than the physical aspect of becoming one.
Hey, and the more you have sex, the more you want to have sex. It's true. Scientifically proven.
That's
So,
true. That's a true statement.
I feel like we've done better as we've done better
Right.
and had more fun. And that's the other thing, like having fun. I feel like sometimes you have to be willing to giggle and get outside your comfort zones.
And get out of the routine. I mean,
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things for us is I'm always wanting to be
On bottom.
that I'm always wanting to be satisfying, that I'm always wanting to, I want to make it the most pleasurable experience as I can for her. When she's really kind of come around and said that basically we don't always have time for that. But I want to connect with you. So if it's just a you thing every now and then, it's an
But that
okay
goes
thing.
both ways.
And it has gone both ways. But knowing that that's a part of the system.
Hey,
It's part
a
of
decade in, we're actually finally learning how to communicate on more than one level. And I feel like we've gotten to a place in the bedroom where we're willing to do like silly things for each other, in the sense of like play around a little bit more, have fun, try new things. If it doesn't work, you kind of laugh it off and go, let's just move on. We're in it for, like, I'm 100% in it for you and you're 100% in it for me. We're no longer 50-50, let's meet in the middle. It's like, no, I'll come all the way and you'll come all the way. Like, that was not a pun. That was not a pun.
I got it. But did you get it?
You just made that dirty, and it wasn't. I was trying to be romantic and thoughtful and heartfelt.
It's a matter of not coming 50% away, but of like meeting. It's a matter of not going all the way for one another. It's we don't meet in the middle anymore.
Yeah.
You are wanting to
And
do everything
that's
you can.
what marriage is. Marriage is supposed to be 100% of each person, not 50% of each person. And I think as a culture, we've made it out to be, well, if it's 50-50 and we just meet in the middle, it'll be okay. And you can't be that way.
When
I
that's
need to be all in for you.
That's how divorce happens, is 50-50. It's not how a marriage works. A marriage works by each person putting in 100% and loving one another by dying to themselves and looking to lift the other person up.
And it's not easy. It really sucks sometimes.
She means on behalf of me. For her,
Yeah.
it's a
Oh, absolutely. I am a pleasure
Easiest
all
thing
the
in the
time, obviously.
But I've learned, and I put up with it anyways.
Yeah. Okay, so to wrap it all up, it was a great night. Are you going dirty again? Like, what is wrong with you?
There's nothing dirty about wrapping it up.
Then what are you laughing about?
Wrapping it up.
Yeah. To sum it up, we had a great night. It was a really fun date. I feel like we only took, 2-3 hours doing the scavenger hunt. You could have done it all day. It literally could have been morning to night. We could have just kept, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm sorry. There's something else on his mind now. We've moved on past date night, and
Start again.
I think we're gonna go
Start
try out
again.
a different part of
Start
this
again.
app.
Start again.
Oh no, I'm leaving it.
Start again.
Oh, I'm leaving it. All right. Sum it all up. It was a good night.
It was very good.
We had a lot of fun. I think this app is a wonderful tool for married couples. It makes you be intentional and purposeful. It gives you the reminders that you need. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but let's be honest. If my phone's pinging me saying like, hey, remember to love your spouse today, it's like, oh gosh. It just gives you that much more of a nudge to have it in your brain at all times and to be really thinking about, the person that you love and care about the most. So I think this app is a lot of fun, super fantastic.
Yep, I would agree.
Go get it.
I think it's an amazing tool.
If you're not following along with me on Instagram, I'm in my stories daily, sharing life. He's not always in my stories. I'd like him to be in there more, but let's be honest, it's hard to wrangle this beautiful face. So anyhow, come connect with me on Instagram. I would love to hear your thoughts on this app. If you downloaded it, please let me know and, you know, share your review and all that good stuff. Make sure to hit the subscribe button too so we can connect more in the future. All right, that's what we got.